It is a big speaker talking facts, and I am back. Welcome to my channel. Anything that is discussed on this channel is for educational, entertainment, fair use, research, and allegedly. I am going to be continuing with part 2 about Martin Luther King Sr. and Martin Luther King Jr. We originally started with part 1 about where the name Martin Luther originated from, which was a German priest by the name of Martin Luther, born November the 10th, 1483, and passed away February 18th, 1546, in Germany, where he was born. That is where Martin Luther King Sr. and Jr. got their name from. They were originally born Michael King Sr. and Michael King Jr., but they changed their names. As I told you in part 1, Martin Luther King Sr., born December 19, 1899, and passed away November 11, 1984, who ran off with the Republicans and hid out. And it was a lot of ruckus that started all that. It was because his parents, Mrs. Delilah Lindsay and Mr. James Albert King, were sharecroppers, and the plantation, which is a white plantation owner, it was a lot of ruckus because Miss Delilah and her sons would go to church, and Mr. James Albert King didn't approve of it. And so, with, Delilah and her son, Michael King Sr., going to this Baptist church and all this stuff, and, it got a lot of ruckus started. And so they had to go into hiding. But before they went into hiding, his son, Michael King Sr., at that time, ran off with the Republicans and hid and never saw his father again. His father died in hiding and never got to see his son. And his son stayed in hiding with the Republicans and went on with life. And that's when he met Miss Alberta Christine Williams King. She was born September 13, 1904, passed away June 30th, 1974, in Atlanta, Georgia, due to an assassination. Now, Michael King Sr. had 3 children with his wife. And because of the fact that, he was a Republican and she practiced Christianity and was a part of Ebenezer Baptist Church, and she was assassinated in Georgia. It doesn't give a location of this church, but this church is what her and her son were into. And, it's so unfortunate, but it eventually led to her assassination behind her belief in the Ebenezer Baptist Church that her and her husband and her son, Michael King Jr., also known as Martin Luther King, who was also assassinated. But you have to know what you're dealing with and the people's history of who you're dealing with, so that you can make an educated guess, which is also known as a hypothesis, when you choose to follow these people. I'm not a follower, but if you choose to follow these people, you need to make sure you know who you following. Now, I do listen to black leaders, so forth and so forth, but as I showed you with Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, they are Freemasons, so they are under an oath. They cannot be part of a secret society and be loyal to the melanin, black, or African people. You cannot. You cannot. So, you know, this is something that has been going on, for a long time. And a lot of people ain't really know who these people are. But the man that shot Martin Luther King Jr., mother, Miss Alberta Christine Williams King in Atlanta, Georgia, this guy was the name of Chanel, and said he was going to shoot Mr. Martin Luther King Sr., but he shot the wife instead, because all Christians are enemies. And y'all make that make sense. As I've told you guys before, religion is just a way to keep us divided. But when you have your husband, which is Michael King Sr., also Martin Luther King Sr., being a Republican and holding hands with the enemy, this is what you get. And if you go and you look at these dates, the date that she was took out was June 30th, 1974. And you know that numerology and symbolism is a big part of the real gangsters. And so I find it very odd that she passed away on 6 and then 3/0/1974. And he was going to get the husband, but he got her. Okay, then her husband, the same one that ran out from his own parents to be with the Republicans. So, it looked like somebody might have been sacrificed around here. That's what people don't realize. She may have been sacrificed. She was assassinated for her Christian beliefs. People need to know who they are following and need to know the real history, because these people ain't going to give you the real history. They is not going to give you the real history. And if there were any dates off on the part 1 of any date of birth or deceased, all those dates are corrected in this part 2. And as I stated, Martin Luther, who was a priest, a German priest, he was born November 10th, 1483, passed away February 18th, 1546, in Germany, where he was born. The parents of Martin Luther King Sr., born Michael King Sr., were Delilah Lindsay and James Albert King. They were sharecropped, and they worked in the Clay County, Georgia area, then known as Stockbridge, Georgia, and had to go into hiding because of the beliefs and religions and things that his wife and their son, Michael King Sr., practiced, causing a ruckus with the white plantation owners, causing them to go into hiding, and Michael King Sr. running off with the Republicans. Never seen his dad again. And then he goes on and he meet Miss Alberta Christine Williams King, and she was a Christian, you remember? And she had Martin Luther King Jr. in church, also known as Michael King, who was also assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee, which is a state that is adjoined to Atlanta, Georgia, where his mother was assassinated conveniently on June 30th, 1974. Okay. And he was going to, the man that killed her was going to get the husband, but he got her. Okay. Well, her husband lived all the way to 1984. Yeah, he did. He was born December the 19th, 1899, and lived all the way to November 11th, 1984. And if y'all know, starting October, November, December, that is what they call winter solstice. And that is when all the different little sacrificing and things like that go on. That is when that type of stuff go on. Yes, it is. And people need to know these things. This stuff is based on numerology, symbolism, Greek mythology, religion, and so many other things. It'll blow your mind. But as I told you before, a lot of our black leaders are infiltrated into any black organization that one may come up with, and has been getting information in the past to take back to the oppressor, the real gangsters. So you need to know what you're dealing with. If they was doing that then, imagine what they doing now. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about the real history on Michael King Sr., also known as Martin Luther King Sr., and Martin Luther King Jr., born Michael King Jr. But we will get to him at another time, which I've already discussed, things about Martin Luther King Jr. or whatever. But I will do like a recap video on just Martin Luther King Jr. himself and how he was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee, and his mother was assassinated as well. But I will do a separate video on just Martin Luther King Jr. himself being assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee, also known as the Cursed City, where symbolism, occult, and all that is highly, 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 highly used, all the way down to the developers of the city, Memphis. So I've showed you guys how even down to the roads, it has symbolism in it. The cursed pyramid. So that video will be quite interesting. But this video was just to give you guys an idea of who Martin Luther King Jr. father was and who his mother was, and how his mother was also assassinated because of her religious beliefs, just as Martin Luther, the German priest, who Michael Sr. and Michael Jr. got their name, Martin Luther King Sr. and Jr. from. Now, this is so ironic, but I want you guys to let me know how y'all feel about that. That's a lot of coincidental. A lot of coincidental. Some stuff just too coincidental for me. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about all this. Adapting the name of a German priest that was kicked out for his religious beliefs, and then you go on and you run off and you hide out with the Republicans from your own parents after you done caught all this ruckus. And then you never see your dad. Your dad dies, never see you. You stay in hiding with the Republicans. Then you go on and meet Martin Luther King's mother, and she was assassinated because of her religious beliefs. That is ironic. And the name that you adapted, Martin Luther, he was a priest, and the Pope kicked him out because of his religious belief. I find that out. But I want y'all to let me know how y'all feel about the real history that I've shown you guys today on Martin Luther King Sr. and Martin Luther King Jr. And also how Martin Luther King's mother got assassinated in Atlanta, Georgia, conveniently. I appreciate every last one of you guys for watching these videos and, subscribing to my channel. And I'm getting more time on my hands, so I'm able to start doing some video editing and creating some videos, which will make it a lot easier for me. I will be just a form of a narrator, which is very, very simple, versus doing these whole videos like this. But I've shown you guys enough, and I want you guys to pay attention to the thumbnail of Michael King Sr. and just what he's doing. I want y'all to let me know how y'all feel about this, because I've already told you about Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. It's plenty more out there, but these are the main ones I want to talk about. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about it down in the comment section below. You can email me, you can Instagram, and DM me, whichever way you choose. You can let me know if you want to talk about any other topics or whatever the case may be. You can contact me those ways. I appreciate you guys, and you guys stay safe out there. Be careful with these YouTube bloggers, because it is YouTube bloggers out here that went from being by themselves, and then it was a set of twins, and they had a channel, and now the young boy over there with the twins, and they all talking about Makitas. So y'all be careful out there with these bloggers, because they may say what they want to say about Sko, and yeah, he is going up there to Makitas, but yeah, he ain't the only one. We got DEA informants, we got agents, we got all types of authority figures out here. And we got people that's infiltrated in to try and get information from you. So be careful out here on these YouTube weird streets. This is an evil world we living in, y'all. And it's good versus evil. And I'm for the good. That's why I'm bringing you real history you can use. So if you haven't hit that like, subscribe, share, and notification bell, go ahead and do so. So every time I come with real news you can use, you will know. It's the Big Speaker talking facts. I'm out. Peace, my brothers and sisters.